And it's live, pal. Good morning, good evening, or good night, depending on where you are in the world. Miles Morales, issue number 18 is the variant cover. Pick that up. It's outlawed. It's time to get back on Miles Morales, or is it? I read this book and you're going to hear what I have to say about it, and then we can talk more about Miles Morales and everything involved with him. Just everything about Miles Morales. Let me see if I can do the share screen thing properly. Boom. Let's get me out of the way. And first page of this comic. Oops, there we go. Exit full screen. The first page of this comic you can see. It's them at Brooklyn. Okay, that's key. You know, you got to know where you're taking place, even though it is Miles. But whatever. It's the parents. What a beautiful night that it is. They're coming out of a yoga studio. It's wild. Years and years ago, I used to boost wallets in this neighborhood. If you told me then that I'd be taking my baby to a yoga class here, times change, papi. People change. Speaking of which, let's get home. Our nearly adult son is waiting for us. I don't even know why they highlighted that nearly an adult. Oh, please. He's probably psyched to have some quiet time to himself. So, all of this is for me to tell you that it was all irrelevant. The yoga played no part in this story. The background people played no part in this part of the story. These people here and these people here. There was nothing that contributed or will be called back to at this moment. The next time we see the parents is when he's on the phone with his mom. And them being at yoga had nothing to do with anything. I did not need an explanation for why they were out. I really didn't. I thought they just wasted a full ass page on this just to show you, I guess, gentrification, that Brooklyn is changing. I guess that was the goal intended here in this comic, or at that part of the comic. And let me stop sharing. There I am. And I noticed that when I was reading. What's going on, Danny Orange? I need to follow you back on Twitter. You followed me a second ago, didn't you, Danny Orange? Hi, chill. Hi. Let me see if I can share the rest of the comic, actually. Let's see if that can work. Because if I can do that and share, this might be like the future way I do, reviews. If I could share what I was reading on Comixology. Do you see that? Let me see. Yes, you do. Beautiful. Let me get you out the way, Danny. Okay, this next page here, where he goes, "That's what you get for biting my style." This reeks, and I promise I did like this book. It was an okay book. But this reeks of an old guy trying to talk young for a character. That's what you get for biting my style. I would have erased the words "my style," and that's what you get for biting. That's how a young person would say that, in Chillmonger's opinion. And then the next thing that happened here was when he was, oh yeah, there's the phone call there. But the next thing is where these people saw Miles and he cloaked. Like they see him fully there. Zoom, zoom, zoom. They see him here. And then he goes, "Neighbors need to cloak." Well, if they're neighbors, they probably know who you are, Miles. This better pay off. They're not too far away where they can't see you. Like, women have stronger vision than men. They can see colors at a more accurate, you know what I mean? This is unexcusable. Oh, neighbors need to cloak. They see you. They know you're home. They're your neighbors, and you cloaked. So your identity is no longer private. Hey, this is outlawed, right? Maybe they're going for something. They take outlawed a whole lot more seriously in this book than they do in every other book. In 2020 in Ironheart, I'm reading that, and she's just going home like nothing. Over here, they're appearing at the schools, trying to dox these people, trying to say the pledge. It's unconstitutional garbage. I pledge to make administrators aware of any students engaged in so-called superhero blah blah blah. This double speak for fascism. That's what they're saying here, and it's like a huge deal. And we got agents surrounding parents and everything under the sun over here. And yeah, he fights this doppelganger. The fighting was cool. The artwork was amazing by Carmen Carnero. Nothing was too small. Every panel was exactly the right size. And this was cool. The fact that he's got the Venom Shock, the whatever it's called. I called it Venom Shock. I know it's called something else. And we end the comic with him being trapped. With him being trapped again by this Mr. Negative looking villain. But it's interesting. It feels like the outlawed event kind of happened. Let me get out of this screen. Remove. It feels like the outlawed event is happening in Champions, and everywhere else we haven't seen Ms. Marvel yet, but everywhere else is just a book. It's like, oh, we got to include outlawed. Okay, we'll do it how we interpret outlawed, and it's not really the overall outlawed thing. What's going on, Second Street Marvel? Danny says, haha, get him. Women see everything, bro. Hello, hello. Now, okay, that's the book. It's a fine book. The comic movie, the superhero film of Miles Morales. What do we do from here on out? It was successful. It was beloved. It's gonna get a sequel. It's gonna have more spider characters. So this whole Spider-Verse, or other people getting the spider powers, like my girl over here, like everyone on this, which you can't really see because of glare, but everyone on this poster who's got spider powers, including Spider Ham, they're not going away. We're gonna get these other spider people. It's not very original, but it's happening. Does that mean that Miles Morales in the comics should return to the Ultimate Universe? I say yes. As long as there's always a Peter Parker around, this guy is secondary. And he shouldn't be calling himself Spider-Man. That name's taken. You can't just Kate Bishop Hawkeye it. I don't even like it the way they do it with Kate Bishop. Kate Bishop became Hawkeye, fine, because Clint was dead because of Avengers Disassembled. All of a sudden, Hawkeye's back, Clint is back, and they keep Kate Bishop as Hawkeye. It doesn't work for me. If you want to pass the mantle, since that's the big talk after the death of Chadwick Boseman, everyone seems to want to talk about that. If you can pass the mantle, then actually do it and keep the mantle there. I would accept a Miles Morales being Spider-Man if Peter was dead, and that only can take place in his universe. What about issue 6 of Ironheart when he was facing that guy with portals? Maybe there's like a portal that takes him back to the Ultimate Universe. I know Eddie Brock is there right now. Find a way to get back to that universe. You just get in a gateway. See you guys. I'm going back home and bring my family with me. Thanks, Franklin Richards, for creating this. And now I'm back to my thing. You can call it Spider-Man One More Gates. That's a good name. I'm trademarking that. Now we got Miles Morales in the MCU. Let's talk about that. Uncle Aaron made a phone call to his son, nephew, Miles, I can't make it. Meaning he's old enough to be, he's old enough to understand a phone conversation. So let's say he's 3 years old during Homecoming. That movie came out. Civil War was 2017 it came out, right? It's now 2023 in the MCU. So if this 4-year-old at the time aged from 2017 to 2023, he'd be 10 right now. Meaning he'll be a teenager in 5 years. Meaning in a movie in 2028, we can expect Miles Morales. But if he was blipped, then no, not in 2028. We can expect him 5 years later. In 2033 is when we're going to get Miles Morales in the MCU. And will the MCU even be around in 2033? Think about it. Danny says, I'd like to see a situation where Miles is something like Kid Arachnid. So he can exist alongside Peter. I would say yes to almost all of it, except for the name. Kid Arachnid. Anytime you add like a kid something or a little something, never works for me. Kid Arachnid? How about just Arachnid? Is there already a character named Arachnid? They're bad at naming, aren't they? Like Ms. Marvel is a horrible... She's on the cover. That's a horrible name. Look, it does not speak for anything. Ms. Marvel? Ugh. This guy who used to call himself Hulk, they fixed that. They called him Braun. This one, she never called herself Iron Man. She always had an original name. And it's not like she has powers anyways. She's just smart. I give Ironheart such a pass when it comes to this like legacy stuff. Like Nova. Yeah, when Richard Rider was dead, sure, you were Nova. And you had a black Nova helmet too. It was a little bit different. But now that he's back, you still want to go by Nova Sam Alexander? You should be calling yourself something else. This guy is, what, Power Man, I think? And Locust? I forget who that one is. I have no idea who that is. One of the champions, though. One of the champions that they don't focus on. That's fair. The name is just a random pick. I get you. Yeah, but I get the sentiment that you're saying. I like your concept. Yeah. With Miles, I like that he's in Brooklyn. I like the half Puerto Rican and half black. It's like it's fitting. It's fitting of New York. Other than that, though, when I get to the actual character, he's always second to Spider-Man, to Peter Parker Spider-Man. When I say Spider-Man, you think of Peter. I don't know anyone who thinks of Miles. You actually gotta be specific. They gotta do something to change it up. I haven't really read a lot of them characters, but I have read quite a bit. I haven't really read a lot of them characters, but I have read quite a bit. They're not essential. Like they've never. Remember, the one time that it felt like, okay, these new guys matter was in that event in Civil War II when Miles Morales kills Captain America and he's holding the body up in Washington. That moment was like, oh, okay, he counts now. Okay, cool. And that's only because Bendis was writing Miles. Now that Bendis is gone, you think Jason Aaron cares about this? Who's writing the next big event? Donny Cates? Donny Cates doesn't give a damn. When Al Ewing was writing Empire, how often did we see the characters that are on the cover of this comic, this variant cover? How often did we see these guys appear? No, we didn't. They'd rather focus on the mainstays. When Alex Ross is painting that big mural for the Marvel offices and the timeless variants that we all see, he only uses the characters that matters. These legacy characters like Miles Morales are so secondary. Was used by him in the past though? Kid Arachnid? No, it's not sticking on me. Kid Arachnid? Get back here, Kid Arachnid. No, I don't like it. But that's subjective. Something different though is what I'm asking for. Right. I pretty much read everything from Civil War II through Secret Empire. Okay, so if you read through from Civil War II to Secret Empire, then they were kind of pushing Miles Morales at the time. Since then though, they put the writer Saladin Ahmed on the book, and I say that with that voice because he's not main. He's not like the writers I was mentioning before. He's no Hickman, right? That's what they got to do with Miles. They got to give him a top tier writer. Maybe like in a year from now when this run is over, give him another top tier writer and make him feel as important as he is, because he's gonna be bringing in money during with the movies. And like I always like to remind you, comic book fans, the movies are where the money is at. The comic book industry, I think, in total only made $500 million. That's one Marvel movie, MCU movie. Spider-Man only made $300 million last time I checked on the Box Office Mojo website. The animated movie, the Miles Morales Spider-Man movie, yeah. Anyone has anything else to say? Yeah. I think I stopped pulling at issue 5 of the current series. I stopped pulling, I think, around issue number 10 when he had a baby. When he had a baby daughter, and I'm like, sister. And the sister was so young. And 9 months was supposed to pass in the book. And he was writing in a journal, and he was in the same class, and he never graduated. But 9 months passed because that's how babies work. And he's in the same classroom. And I'm like, this just doesn't work. I know you're supposed to give and take with time in comic books, but this was too much confusion for me. That threw me off. I couldn't read that comic. Miles, we can call him a success, but his legaciness it's his biggest positive and also his biggest negative. Being able to call this guy Spider-Man helps. Another Spider-Man in the universe hurts, is the conclusion. But he's around. He's gonna be here to stay. Yeah, the movie is gonna be way more better than the comic. With movies, they've got so much, man. You can't compete with it. Movies have animation and voice acting, and they can pick from the best comic and they can adapt it. So you already have from the beginning it should be good. If you got some smart people doing it. But if you change it from the comics, like the New Mutants film that came out, they really changed it from the comics. There's no institute halfway between Charles Xavier and when your powers just start, tokenized Spider-Man. I'm not even gonna object to that, the tokenized part of it. That's what he is. But but they should have like planted their heels and really called, really like went with it. The whole, this is what a Spider-Man would look like in New York if Spider-Man happened today. Neighbors, please shut up. Thank you. They didn't do that really. They just kind of pretend he's Spider-Man. Did you read Incoming? Probably not, Lonely Banter. But there was a book where Peter and Miles were just sitting on a bridge and they're talking and he's like, "Hey Spider-Man this and you're Spider-Man that," and calling each other Spider-Man. It didn't work for me. Any news on the Spider-Verse 2? I believe, Fenrir, that Spider-Man, the Japanese version, that guy's logo appeared when they promoted Spider-Man 2 is going to come out in 4 years, when they said that like a year ago. Other than that, I don't know if there's going to be any news. Ghost Spider is going to be really focused on in that movie. So the rumors go. Danny says, "Hey, gotcha. Yeah, comic writing has been pretty cringe in recent years. I think they just wanted to make Mr. Sinister reference in New Mutants with that weird institute. I respect that they wanted to make a Sinister reference and they wanted to make it seem like the Fox universe had it all together, because Essex Corporation was the big end credit scene for the last movie, for Apocalypse. And then we didn't get that in Dark Phoenix. This is where it was going. And then maybe Mr. Sinister would have been a character they were trying to build, and then they had to go and sell themselves to Disney. And 20th Century Fox is no longer. They actually called it 20th Century. The beginning of the movie New Mutants, I was waiting for, you know, after the drums with the 20s. I'll just do it. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. I was waiting for the, it didn't happen. I was waiting for the X to glow. It just, there was no Fox. The word Fox was missing. I was so disappointed from that movie, even from the beginning. I think they just wanted to make Mr. Sinister oh yeah, I just read this. Yeah, Brem. That's the video. That's the Miles talk. So I am down on the character. I don't think I'll continue reading this book. I just kind of picked it up because, was it even in my pull list? Maybe it was. But yeah, Miles Morales, Spider-Man. I'm still down on the guy. They could get me with him. Maybe if they returned him to the universe, like to his original universe, maybe I'd check it out. I want Spider-Man movie. It would make a great sci-fi horror sort of like that Kevin Bacon Invisible Man movie. Google Kevin Bacon Invisible Man. What movie are you talking about? Oh, this one from year 2000. The Hollow Man. Yeah. So a Spider-Man movie? A sci-fi movie? See, every time they go different though, every time they go astray from the regular comic book stuff, I never like it. Like horror movie, New Mutants? Didn't like it. Like, what are other examples where they go different? Actually, that is the only example I can think of. It's the only one I thought of. You can say that Thor Ragnarok was a comedy. I didn't love the comedy part of it. There were good parts, like when he's telling Doctor Strange about, it's called the internet, you're supposed to send an electronic mail, and he goes, "What's your computer?" "I don't have a computer. What would I have a computer for?" As much as I laughed, it just doesn't make sense why Thor would say that. Spiders, man, from Spider-Geddon. Oh. And I read that too. He was made of spiders, wasn't he? Or is he the guy with all the arms? Do I gotta get up and get Spiders-Geddon right now to double check? He should be in it though. Yeah, you're right. That's why we're gonna keep on getting these Spider-Verse tie-ins and big events where there's all multiple Spider people. It's so that they could add them into the movies. New Mutants wasn't a horror. It was barely a movie at all. It was barely a movie. He's not even giving it movie status. Come on now. Fenrir says, "I always wanted to see Miles in a Batman and Robin relationship with Peter. I think it would be cool." So, what would the equivalent to Robin be? We got Batman and Robin. He'd have to have a new nickname, right? Spider-Man and Arachnid. Yeah, he dropped into the vat of spiders, and they ate him and became him. That's different. I like that. So the whole thing with that Dan Slott introduced about how a spider must bite someone and it's part of just the way that things go, that was ignored. Totally with Fenrir. I understand the black sidekick trope can be problematic. I wasn't even thinking of that. But in my opinion, it really works for those two. I would, yeah. Let's see it fail first. So anything can work, you know. Conditioner Gordon. That would degrade him to sidekick levels. I mean, what is he? His book does sell pretty nicely. I think it was 25,000 the last time I checked, which is all right. No, it was 30,000, wasn't it? Comicron monthly sales, March 2020. Oh, did they upgrade it? No, I was reading the wrong. I thought it was, wait a minute. They did upgrade. They updated. No, they did it. Not for Diamond. Okay, let me scroll down for Miles Morales, see where his sales were. Miles Morales Spider-Man in March of 2020 sold 25,000 comics. Issue number 16 only had 25,000. I shouldn't say only. That's fine for Miles, for a secondary character. That is okay. There's books that are getting canceled, like Ghost Rider and stuff like that. They already gave him the name Kid Arachnid in the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon. That's where they did it, in a cartoon, not in the 616 books. That's different then. No, they can still adapt it. I mean, it's out there. How did the people take to it? How do you take to it, Kid Arachnid? Conditioner Gordon. I know you don't like Kid Arachnid, but yeah, if you look it up, turns out it's totally a thing. All right. I mean, yeah, okay, fine. I'm on board with Kid Arachnid if that's what they want to do. Anything is better than Spider-Man, right? But again, like I said with Ms. Marvel, that's a horrible name. Ms. Marvel just doesn't command excitement. We already got enough Marvels out there, like Marvel Boy and Blue Marvel, and there's a Marvel Girl, and there's a Captain Marvel. There's Marvel, that guy. It's just too many Marvels out there. So to call someone Ms. Marvel, it's like, it's stupid to me. It's been in comics, then fine. Kid Arachnid it is. Maybe that's what I should start doing. I should just call him Kid Arachnid. No more Spider-Man. Not that I've ever called him Spider-Man. I always called him Miles. And Shazam. Yeah, there's another one. But yeah, you guys all know. Fawcett Comics invented Billy Batson, who can turn himself into someone called Captain Marvel. DC picked them up. He was too much like Superman. That's how the story goes. And they lawsuited them and threw lawsuits at them and made them go away. And then the Captain Marvel name was free, and Marvel's like zoink, and they made their own Captain Marvel. I thought Captain Marvel was a dumb name. We got Captain America, and the company's name Marvel. I don't disagree with that. I wouldn't have named someone Captain Marvel either. But yeah, like I was saying, it's because the name was available, and Marvel's like, well, our comic book company is called Marvel. Boom. We're gonna make a guy named Captain Marvel. He's a Kree. Boom, that's our superhero. And meanwhile, DC Comics bought Fawcett Comics, and they're like, okay, this Shazam guy, Billy Batson, we got him too. And they had a character named Captain Marvel. And that's not until 2011-ish where they started calling him Shazam and not Captain Marvel anymore. And I guess Marvel won that battle. And it was around 2012 where Carol Danvers was like, I'm going to call myself Captain Marvel after, what's his name, after the Kree dude. And I think they only did that because the Captain Marvel before, her name was Monica Rambeau. She let go of the name, and Marvel needs to have that name in use or the copyright will expire or something like that. So they gave it all to protect the name Captain Marvel, which means nothing to me. It's just a name. We need to stop calling them by their names. Like, we need to call them by their, not their titles, but their names. Like, whenever I talk about Black Panther, or like, hey, did you hear Chadwick Boseman died, everybody? And someone will be like, yeah, I can't believe that. They should pass the mantle of Black Panther to somebody else. Okay, but what about, the Chadwick Boseman person? What do we do with T'Challa? It's very hard to talk about people without mentioning their titles and not their names. So it's easier just to be like Carol, Steve, Some people say that Shuri can be Ironheart. No, that's Riri Williams and Ironheart are the same. Bruce Wayne and Batman are the same guy. Let's not just like stick and mix and match people. It doesn't work for me. Unless we're talking about the Spider Verse, then you can make Gwen Stacy a Spider Man, Spider Woman. There are too many. That's not how you spell two, my friend. There are too many Marvel named characters out there. Yes, I agree. Yes, but they can't let the real Captain Marvel keep his name. Yeah, well, he's dead right now. Marvel, right? Oh, you're talking about Shazam. You're right. I like Shazam better. Why is the guy in DC having the name Captain Marvel? I'd rather just be like Shazam. Maybe like in the 30s, Marvel was a word that meant something. Now it's the company name. Oh, Blue Marvel is a cool lesser known. I'd like to see more of him. So would Charlemagne. So would a lot of fans. And they're not doing nothing. And Gwen is Ghost Spider. You're right. Ghost Spider. My bad. Thank you, Conditioner Gordon. And what do you call Thor? Odin's son? Oh, you're right. Ooh. But Thor's Thor. We call him Donald Blake. That book is coming out in a couple of months. They're gonna actually explain the whole Donald Blake alternate identity Thor thing, or they'll try to. You know, T'Challa had the mantle of Black Panther while his father was still king of Wakanda. We never saw that challenge day, did we? But yeah. So what do we do with that? I'm saying recast. I don't even know who to recast, because damn near everyone, every black actor who I could think of is already in the MCU or maybe too young. Like there's a movement for John Boyega right now. Too young. Get someone 40. Daniel Kaluuya, that guy, the guy who plays Wakabi. He's already in the movie, so can't do him. Michael B. Jordan's too light, and he was already Killmonger. I don't want to see him. Michael Jai White is too old. Mahershala Ali is Blade, and I think he's 50 himself. Like, he's an old guy. I don't know who to recast him with. But, like, whatever they do with it, I can't really judge. These circumstances are just... they got to deal with it. With the passing of Chadwick Boseman and how they move forward with the Marvel movies. Because he should have been, like, the head of the Avengers team. Thor should have... No, Thor will be it, honestly. Thor is the one guy from the originals. From the original three. That we love. That's still around. That's why, because he's a marvelous character. I like Brashear. Adam Brashear? Yes. Yeah, he is cool. Super powered, though. Super strong, but yeah, he's cool. I've been going for 27 minutes. Let's end it at 30, okay? Why didn't they ever bring T'Challa's adopted brother Hunter into the MCU? Because they had... Why didn't they do that? Let's explore that. It just didn't fit. We don't have enough time in comic book movies to do everything that the comic books have to do. There's a new comic every single month. Every movie that we've ever had from the MCU, they've also put out a comic book version of the events of that movie. And they could cover a full movie in 2 comics. 20-page comics. So that's 40 pages. I think Infinity War took 3 comics to cover. So 60 pages. 3 months. 3 months worth of comics. But when you're doing the comic books and you're not doing the films, you've got so much time and so much time to dedicate to different stories and things. Like Hunter from The White Wolf. So that's why. There's just not enough time for that. J.D. Washington. I know that name. J.D. Washington. Oh, John David, like the guy from Tenet right now. Ooh, how old is he? He's 36? I'll take it. Yeah. They call him JD, though. That's cool. My point in saying is that Shuri can take the mantle of Black Panther. Yes. While the new actor continues to portray King T'Challa. I watched the Endgame back, and I wanted to say Shuri should have never died, and there's no proof of it except for like one little Twitter post where she was in black and white. But in the actual movie, when they're showing Iron Man, Tony Stark is back at the compound, and he's just like skinny. You can see faces, and one of them is Shuri, and it was all the faces of people who dusted, I think. So if they want to retcon that, I'll forgive them. But in the movie, it's recognized that Shuri has died. Sorry to bother you. I hated that movie. It's the first movie I ever walked out on. After the horse scene, I'm just like, F that. I promise you will love the F out of it. I just told you. I I didn't finish it, you know? Sorry to bother you. Carol is screwed now. She has no one to bounce off of. So she's screwed? She needs someone to bounce off of? No, she's an independent hero now. I love Hunter. Wonder Woman, we need him. I love Hunter. Whoa, we need him. I don't know what WW is. I feel like an old timer because I don't know what WW stands for. Lead actor of Sorry to Bother You. He said some stuff that's weird though. Could step into that role with the proper humility and dignity, in my opinion. Yeah, so yeah, you probably heard the same things from what I've seen in interviews. No Cap, Black Panther, no Iron Man, and Thor's gonna be Jane Foster. Yeah, it's not looking good, but Thor, Cap, and Iron Man weren't Thor, Cap, and Iron Man and Black Panther. These guys were not big deals 12 years ago. It can be done where people are brought up like that. We got Spider-Man. We're good, or at least, unless Sony has something to say about that. John David, cause I don't feel like typing the full name. Okay. LOL. What? What did you just LOL? What at? White Wolf. Oh, the sorry to bother you thing? Yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry to bother you. White Wolf would be Bucky, right? They called him that, but that was just like a little line to satisfy you, maybe, or maybe that was to test the waters and see how fans would respond to White Wolf. Thanks for joining me. I gotta retitle this now because I started with Miles Morales talk, but we kind of finished with Black Panther, so we're gonna do that. I'm gonna retitle this video after I post it. So, thumbs up. All 9 of you. I'm chill, and I'm out.